What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Bianconero Zone for a preview. I know we play on Monday, but I'm out tomorrow, so I'm gonna preview it now without knowing what Allegri is gonna say tomorrow in his presser. But I probably can predict what he's gonna say in his presser. It's gonna be a weird preview. It's not gonna be a very long one as well because I did record my breakdown of Udinese video um, for Monday morning, and actually it was very tough to preview or to do because it feels deflated. It feels like it's over. In terms of winning the title, it feels like we got so many points. You won so many points, and you're so far ahead of who is sitting in place number 5 that you're actually playing for what, and that's a question maybe. What are we actually playing for? I think you're playing for the Coppa Italia. Stay focused for the Coppa Italia. I guess that's the goal now. Even towards next season, I'm very unsure. What we can do now to play or to use going into next season, because when you see that Alexandro is potentially starting, potentially it probably is going to start, then you do need to ask yourself some questions here, because even if you won it, like, and somebody says it, I think this is an easy game. Wait, let me put up the chat really quickly. um this is an easy game. I think this is an easy game to experiment at home to a poor Udinese side. There's nothing to lose at this point. That's my point. When you see that Alexander's potentially going to start, you know that's not going to be the case. You just know that's not going to be the case. And that's why I'm very confused, like doing a preview and actually getting up for the game as well, because it is not over, but we all watch Inter play again. Um, it is over. Like, maybe points wise, like mathematically, it's not over, but like just in your head, it's kind of over. You assume the players are not thinking like that, but I'm thinking like that, and you know. And I was like, maybe we're gonna see some new things and whatsoever. But then, again, you read that Alexander's gonna start, and you're like, we're not gonna change anything. Like, we're gonna go very basic again. We're gonna go the old school way, and even with an eye on next season, if you're looking to next season as well, what's the point of playing an Alexandro? What is actually the point of playing Alexandro? So I know there was an entire article at, was it Tutto Sport or Gazzetta dello Sport? An entire article about potentially Allegri switching it up and playing Alcaraz, playing what was it, Diallo, giving Diallo minutes. And does anyone really believe that that's really gonna happen? Because it should happen. Especially for Alcaraz, you need to see what you have. Like, you only have a couple of months left. You have an option to buy him for a ridiculous fee, but even at that point, you need to know, like, is it completely pointless, or is there a real good reason to go to Southampton and renegotiate that potential 50 million price tag? So you assume, basically, it's an assumption that we're going to see changes, with personnel, maybe the idea of play, but I'm not convinced about it. Like, I don't see it. Like, I will be actually shocked if we are gonna see something completely different than we have done up to this point. Because we've been very safe. We've played very safe. We've tried to play very controlled. Not going over the top and all those things. And actually, it got us here points wise, but it also showed our limitation when we absolutely needed to switch things up. So I think the Alexandro potential starting rumor is, for me, an indication that we're just gonna go the same way. I need to check now, because last time I messed that up, with how many points we were ahead uh, on place number 5. So let me check, because so Roma sitting at 5. Bologna could potentially. Okay, so Lazio have a game in hand, and Bologna have 2 games in hand. So let's say Lazio win their game in hand. Um, oh no, they don't have a game in hand. Excuse me. I'm messing it up here. So Bologna have a game in hand. So let's say Bologna win their game in hand. Then they have 39, and we have 53. I think it is. I think it is 53. So even if Bologna win their game in hand, and we're on the same amount of games, we're still 15 points ahead on place number 5. 15 points or 14 points. What did I say? 39, and so 14 points it is. We're still 14 points ahead. Who is sitting at place number 5? And I don't care if you finish second, third, or fourth. I absolutely don't give anything about that. So 14 points clear of who's sitting if place number 5, if Bologna win their game in hand, by the way. Otherwise, it could be even more. However, that means you're going to need to lose 5 games, basically, before that team is going to catch you up. And they cannot lose 5 games. Like, the chances of that happening should be 0. It should be 0. So at that point, I'm like, you should be able to switch things up, and try different things out and still cruise, to the end of the season. But knowing Allegri, that's probably just not going to happen. And the big question mark is as well, is he going to be there? Does he already know, like, I'm not going to be here? So he's like, I'm just going to get the max out of it and just going to leave like that. And I'm going to say, you know what, I still got this team second. Or is he going to be here and he's like, I'm going to go this way and I want to install the mindset, basically, going into the next season. So you can look at it both ways, but I don't think we're gonna see any changes. We bought 2 good players and Allegri doesn't let them start, like Diallo, instead of putting players like Alexandro. Okay, he comes back from injury, so fair, being fair to Allegri, he just came back from an injury, but you can start Rugani instead of Alexandro, because you're trying to keep Rugani at the club. You're not trying to keep Alexandro at the club. I mean, yeah, like, that's for me an issue. Do like the video, people. Only 10 likes. That's not good. So push the like buttons up, even if you're rewatching. Do that now. Before I get into the lineups and stuff, really quickly, Inter played and they won against Roma. They deserve to win overall over those 90 minutes. But I did a video on De Rossi, on his quote. And actually, I need to invite people who comment, because people do not listen what I say. I made a very simple video, and that turned out to be, then sign De Rossi. You think he's better than Allegri? Not once did I said that in the video at all. Like, literally 0 times. So people make up. I think people listen 2 minutes and then make up their mind for the remainder 8 minutes of the video. I was talking about mindset. Roma were going to lose against Inter, because Inter are a better team than Roma. I think that was obvious. I think nobody gave Roma a prayer. I said 2-0, the last 4-2. The point was, De Rossi went into that game not defeated. We went into the game, and the pitch showed that defeated. We looked deflated. We looked scared. We looked without any ideas. We looked like we respected Inter way too much. Like, way too much. It felt like we were sitting bottom half of the league, and we were going to the Meazza. You were like, if you get a point, we get a point. That's the feeling I had watching that game, and that's the only thing I said in that video. It's unacceptable. That's unacceptable, being Juve. On top of that, being second in the league. Like, you're still second in the league. It's not that we were, it's not that we were sitting, like, mid-table. We were second in the league, and it was good. You got there, so fair play. All I was asking for is, go on that pitch and do not be scared, Acknowledge that Inter have more quality, but we made it look like they had light years, in terms of more quality, that it was not even close, all over the place. And I'm like, that is not the case, because I've seen Roma put them in trouble. Of course, they were not going to top it, because they are not a great side, Roma, in terms of, like, they have even more issues than us, I know that as well. But at least they went down fighting, We didn't fight. Like, we went down completely embarrassed, if we're being completely honest, because if Chesney didn't save our asses a couple of times, that would be an absolutely smoking. Like, we would have got smoked there. And that was my only issue. And that's what I said in the video. I didn't say sign De Rossi. I didn't say De Rossi is a better coach than Allegri. I didn't say that. I said at this moment in time, going into that game, at the I thought that was a mindset Juve needed to have. You know, we're second in the league. You are the better team. Fair play. However, we're coming to the Miazza. We have absolutely nothing to lose. You guys need to win the title. We're just here to have a good time, and that's what we're gonna show. We went there and we looked miserable. Like we looked like a team that was completely out of place, a team that didn't believe they deserved to be there, and I, I have an issue with that. I will have an issue with that at the end of the season. I will have an issue with that if you ask me that 10 years from now. Like I would have an issue with that Milan game when Diaz scored and the way we set up that game. It's just the mindset. Like mindset can do a lot. Like it can do a lot. And now it's how are we gonna react? Because you had that Empoli game. I think that was a big blow. I said that the moment that game finished, I'm like, that's gonna have a big impact on that team, and it showed. And then you lost against Inter, and you see Inter winning, and they have their game in hand, and you're like, how are you gonna react now against Udinese? Now that being said, Udinese are a poor side. Like they won 2 games this season. You know, I think Salernitana sitting last in the league won more games. They drew 13, which is weird. They lost less games than Atalanta and Roma. Fair play, I guess. But they're sitting bottom of the league. They're fighting relegation for a reason. So Allegri will have his presser tomorrow, excuse me, or today in 1 hour time. And I know what he's going to say. He's going to say, we need to respect Udinese. You know, they haven't won a league game for the last league game was on the 30th of January last year, basically. They haven't won a league game. I think they lost 3 and drew 2 in the last 5, if I'm not mistaken. They're a terrible side. They are a terrible side, but I know what Allegri is going to say. You need to respect them. They're dangerous. They're fighting relegation. I'm like, what about you fighting for the title? What about talking about that? You know, everybody there comes a time where you just need to, even being Allegri, even if you don't mean it, you know, and behind closed door you say something else, which I'm struggle to believe as well because I don't see it on the pitch, you know, certain moments of the game. Just come out and say, you know what, I need a reaction from my team and we're going to give you a reaction. Just own up for it because that's what we need on Monday. We need a smoking session. I don't care if Vlahovic is injured, excuse me. We need to smoke Udinese. That needs to be a walkover game. That's it. Because if you don't do that against Udinese, the next couple of months are going to be very long in terms of they're going to be unwatchable. And you're going to be very frustrated. You are going to be more frustrated than now, just purely based on the way we play, the way we... Refresh the chat really quickly. The way we play. So I want him to come out tomorrow. He's not going to do it and say, we need a reaction and we're going to put Udinese to the sword. Too bad for Udinese. They're coming to the Allianz and they're going to get smoked, basically. Not with those words, but that's what we need. I think that's what we all expect for Monday, or expect. We should be expecting, not saying expect that I think is going to happen. Because I think it's going to be a very dull game, by the way. But that's what should be happening, you know. Drop points against Empoli, and didn't win against Inter, that kind of kicked you out of the title race completely at this point. On Monday, you need a reaction. You absolutely, you need to give the fans anything to cling on again, because now it feels extremely deflated. Does Alcaraz start Monday, and what do you think about him? We must win this Monday. I don't think he's going to start. Actually, now you say so, I I prepared my my lineup. Actually, I'm so pissed that I prepared my lineup thingy here. And I didn't make graphics for Diallo and Alcaraz. I completely forgot about it, to be honest. So I cannot even put them in the lineup because I actually forgot, you know. And I'm probably going to forget for the next game as well. If they don't get significant minutes, I won't be bothered to do so. But let's go into what is going to be the lineup, I think. Obviously, there's nothing going to change here. I see that Huijsen is still in it. Bremer. see. Gatti, because Danilo is suspended, I think. And then, yeah, it's going to be Alexandro. I think the rumors will be true. I think he's going to play Alexandro. And it is what it is. I don't want to dwell on it too much. I recorded actually a video for tomorrow, and I talked quite a bit about Sandro, because he's apparently a club legend, because he's going to top that list, for non-Italian players' appearances for Juve. But I think that's going to be the back line. Obviously, Locatelli is going to start. Rabiot, you can bank that as well. McKennie. Kostic. Where have you got? Cambiasso. And up top, Yildiz. And Milik. That's what I think is going to happen on Monday. Does anyone think Allegri will do something else? Do you think he's going to play Chiesa with Yildiz? I don't. I will be stunned if he doesn't play target man up there. I'll be absolutely shocked if he plays Alcaraz from the start, and I will be also baffled if Alexander doesn't start that game. So I think that's going to be the starting lineup. It doesn't look exciting. It doesn't look like a lot of changes, but there are no indications that Allegri is going to change things up. Like, none at all. So we need to go with this. Like, this is what he potentially is going to use from now until the end of the season. And it's enough to beat Udinese, by the way. Like, I'm not saying we're not going to we shouldn't beat Udinese with this, excuse me. But it feels like all over again, the same thing. I don't know. Does anyone, like, I made a poll, right? I did put a poll out. Let me see. What was the question? Do you still believe in the Scudetto? Actually, 33% is saying no, yes, until the end, which is crazy to me. But fair play. That means you still believe we can somehow win the title. I just don't see it happening. And that's why I said I did my preview, and I found it extremely difficult to get up for it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna drop that video on Monday. I looked into Udinese. It's tough to really get up for that game, just because even if we didn't lose if we won against Empoli, it would still be something. It would be false hope, maybe, but that Empoli result is worse than an Inter. Like, the Inter result, like losing against Inter, it sucks, but whatever. But the way we lost, that was my issue. Against Empoli is everything. The result, the way we lost, like the red card, and that kind of deflated, I think, a lot of the fan base. Because if you won that game, 5 points, you still keep that alive. They drop a point here and there, you win that weekend, and the pressure is on again. 7 points is way too much. I don't know, it's 4 now, but they're going to smoke Atalanta at home. I'm sorry. They're just going to win against Atalanta. Juve season is good, but Inter is just on a run at the moment. Everything works out for them. Yeah, but, we had that as well, in the past. So I don't expect Juve to win the title, by the way. Like, that's also something. You were never going to win the title. I never said that, me personally. No, actually, the people saying, we're never going to win the title, are the people who were saying we're going to win the title. I never said that once. Like, actually, literally none. Even when we got to 1 point and with the game in hand and was on with Alberto, I still said, I don't believe it. I struggle to believe it. So that's not what I'm going to hold against Allegri if he ends up the season without winning the title. However, if he ends the season, if Inter win the title with 7 games ahead, then that's an issue for me. If he doesn't win the Coppa Italia on top of that, it's a disaster. Alberto was talking about a possible 3-4-2-1 lineup. Yeah, that was a rumor about, I think, Tuttosport, with Alcaraz, but I don't believe it. I just don't believe it. That's why I didn't discuss it. But there's no indication ever since Allegri came back that he's going to do something that drastically at such a quote unquote key moment of the season. So that's why I didn't give it a go, because I cannot get behind it. I cannot get hyped about that, because There's no proof that Allegri's going to do it. Inter will drop points for sure, but can we keep up with winning? No. No. Like, I've seen how we play against Inter. We're not going to win away to Napoli, Roma, or Lazio if you play like that against Inter. It's as simple as that. So, no. We're not going to keep winning as well. Let me bring this up again. Okay, so to win that game against Udinese, and everybody knows how I do my rating, 6, like, because I think we shouldn't be giving them a sniff, so that's why it's 6. I don't think this should be have a hero ball type of game. He does. This will do the trick for them. He needs a reaction. Cambiasso, he definitely needs a reaction. Kostic, I'm not expecting much of him. Yildiz and Milik, well, you better have this type of game, because what you did against Empoli kind of kickstarted everything a little bit, downhill. So you better show up big time. If you don't do that after red card against Udinese, then it's gonna be tough to win back a lot of the fan base, a big part of the fan base. Maybe if we scored a winner in the Coppa Italia, people might forget that, but up to this point, it's gonna hunt you, and you need to deal with it basically. My prediction is 2-1. I think it's gonna be close. I think it's gonna be a very boring game, not a fun game to watch, and actually it's gonna be a struggle. We will win in the end. I just have a feeling the team is a bit deflated now. Like, that's just the vibe I have. Maybe it's just me and not the team, but let's see. I'm here to be proven wrong. Hopefully we have a good game and we can put everything a little bit behind us, and we just, keep going again, winning, and just hoping Inter will drop points and we get somehow in the mix again and put some pressure on them. That's basically it, But that's it for me. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. I will have a video out tomorrow daily, and then Monday morning, a stat video on Udinese, as always on match day, and then match reaction, player ratings. Also, just really quickly, I'm working with Anthony to create a new podcast. Not sure when it's going to kickstart, but if you have any ideas, let me know. DM me. It's going to be on Juve, Inter, but it's going to be on Serie A in general, European football in general, and the goal is to do fun stuff, something completely different, bring a lot of guests on, from different channels, different fans, all those things. So something completely different. Anthony is from the Inter Worldwide channel, who came on this channel a couple of times as well. He's a good guy, so we're trying to do something completely new. I think that hasn't been done as of now, not the way we are, or like I have it in mind. We still need to talk it over, but it's not just going to be Inter and Juve. It's going to be Serie A in general, European football, just everything in general, something completely different. So if you have any ideas for that podcast show, because it's going to be twice a month, one time on this channel, another time on his channel. But if you have any ideas, let me know, and we will look that over too as well. But that's it for me. Thanks everyone for watching on a Saturday evening. Subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and hopefully I can come on again on Monday. The blue card, yeah. I might talk about the blue card next week, or I will use that for a podcast with Julian the following week, because I didn't really talk about that. But those are the topics we can do on that podcast. But thanks for watching, and I will see you guys back very soon. Ciao.